Hello there. My name is Tom Wetterston, and I'm a regional team lead and RPM expert at 100 Plus. Today, we're going to walk through what remote patient monitoring is and why 100 Plus is the best solution for your practice. We'll start by taking a look at how an RPM program works, what you have to do to get it set up, and what the biggest challenges are. As you're about to see, there's a lot of setup work required, but don't get overwhelmed. On subsequent slides, we'll take a look at how 100 Plus will help you every step of the way. So first off, you'll choose an RPM vendor that fits well with your practice and your patients. Different vendors will require different amounts of upfront financial investment, so keep in mind how much risk you're taking on at the outset. Once you've found your partner of choice, you'll identify and enroll your chronic Medicare patients. With the wrong vendor, it can take months and require significant staff resources to do this. Enrollment involves identifying patients in your EHR who have qualified chronic conditions, then making a list of those patients, including their demographic info, diagnosis codes, and Medicare number. Ideally, you would be doing an eligibility check with Medicare upfront to ensure that you'll be reimbursed for enrolling them in the program. Once you've done that, you'll reach out to patients. This includes doing patient education as well as gaining their consent to formally put them on the program and go live with devices. So the person who reaches out to patients needs to be able to answer really important questions about every aspect of remote patient monitoring. Many vendors do not assist in this exercise, leaving your staff to do all of the work and to make all of the calls. Again, with the wrong vendor, it can take months and requires significant staff resources to do this. Once patients have agreed to be on the program, you'll choose their devices and ship them out. The average Medicare recipient has 3 chronic conditions. Therefore, each patient will likely require multiple devices. This is critical as it can drive up your upfront costs, so really keep cost and logistics in mind at this point. One question you'll want to ask your vendor is who will handle and pay for shipping. Additionally, patients will have questions upon receiving their devices, so who will be dedicated to taking calls and answering those questions? Again, this is something that can become a big problem for your staff with the wrong vendor. Once received, patients will use the devices. Adherence is critical, so the devices will automatically send readings to the online portal. The automatic submittal is of paramount importance as we don't want to put the onus on the patient to reach out via another method every time they take a reading. This is an extremely important thing to keep in mind when looking at different vendors. If a vendor requires a senior patient to set up Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or download and configure an app, that patient will likely never use the hardware. Patient readings will be sent to the portal where we uploaded patient info earlier, and that's where you and members of your staff can log in to review at any time. The alerts that go out when patients take readings that are out of range are also going to route you here. Then you'll submit claims to Medicare on a monthly basis for the RPM CPT codes, and we'll walk through those in detail later on. It's critical to be sure that your vendor offers billing training and support because the codes are still very new. Finally, you'll be reimbursed for your claims. That effectively covers how an RPM program works end to end. Now I'm going to show you why 100 Plus is the right solution for your practice. When creating our offering, we identified the 2 biggest hurdles to practices trying to do RPM as 1, financial investment, and 2, time. To address those issues, 100 Plus requires no money up front and no staffing resources to implement. We also handle all of the administrative work involved with starting the program, from patient education to device shipment to making patient enrollment lists and checking eligibility. We give each of your patients up to 5 devices, and we replace them if they're lost, broken, or stolen, not the provider and not the patient. We can do all of this in days as opposed to the months it takes our competitors. What that ultimately means is that practices can try remote patient monitoring through 100 Plus without any upfront cost, any staff time, and without any risk. There are 4 main codes that providers use to bill Medicare for RPM, and the amount that providers are reimbursed varies based on where they are in the country. The values on the screen are the national average from CMS and may vary a few percent from your specific location. The first code is 99453. It's a one-time setup that covers patient education. Next is 99454. This code covers RPM devices and the materials and services that allow them to operate. 99454 is billed monthly per patient. Third, we have 99457, which covers the time that providers spend reviewing patient readings and talking with patients about their readings. This code can be billed monthly per patient so long as you spend at least 20 minutes reviewing data or interacting with patients on the program. The last code, 99458, is paid if you spend an additional 20 minutes of review for a certain patient in a month and can be billed up to 2 times per month per patient. The program scales incredibly easily and quickly, so practices will see substantial revenue over time as they continue to add patients to the program. As we discussed earlier, critical and necessary to starting an RPM program is identifying eligible patients and enrolling them. During your onboarding call, 100 Plus will coordinate with your team to extract patient data out of your EHR, including required demographic info and diagnosis codes. If you choose our free white glove onboarding service, our trained staff will reach out to your patients on your behalf to educate and enroll them in the program. We'll also set up the devices and then ship them out directly to your patients. 100 Plus covers all shipping costs and handles all shipping logistics, and the devices require 0 patient setup. No app, no Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi, and no smartphone are required. We have a live support line based in the US for your patients, just in case they have questions. The result is that 100 Plus will save hundreds of hours for you and your staff compared to other RPM vendors who require you to handle all of this upfront in order to get the program off the ground. An RPM program won't work as effectively as possible if patients don't routinely use devices. 100 Plus has this covered for you as well. Our virtual medical assistant will make contact with patients daily to ensure that they're taking readings correctly and on a regular basis, so you won't have to worry about patient adherence. We leverage ADA and AHA guidelines to proactively alert you and your staff when a reading is taken that's out of range. What that means for you is that you'll have a way higher level of vigilance over your at-risk patients and help them avoid episodic care. Every reading that's taken will be automatically sent to a secure portal where you can review it without any patient intervention. This portal is mobile friendly and can be accessed by billers and clinicians if you so choose. Every phase of your RPM experience will live there, whether it be a billing claim for a certain CPT code or a patient's blood pressure. All patient data will be organized, archived, and presented in a user-friendly way. Plus, we'll help you make sure that nobody is falling through the cracks by identifying patients that are still pending RPM services each month. The portal also automatically generates claims, performs error checking against Medicare rules, and coordinates with your biller, ensuring that you get paid for the services you rendered. Your biller can also have a portal and login if you'd like. We've walked through everything that an RPM program can offer a practice and 100 Plus's unique value proposition. Now we'll factor in 100 Plus because with any program, there are costs associated. Our service fee covers each of these costs, and I'm going to list them in no particular order. Devices, shipping of devices, consumables for devices like batteries, strips, and Lancets, cellular connectivity of devices, that's what allows the data to transmit automatically, software, hardware, administrative work, enrollment outreach, and general maintenance. CPT code 99454 is meant to cover RPM devices and the services that provide them. So our service fee is based off the 99454 reimbursement rates for a practice's location. It's the only fee that we have. It covers all of the costs of RPM, and the 99454 reimbursement covers the service fee. Again, providers are reimbursed for 99454 for every patient every month. So as you can see, 100 Plus will offer everything that's required for RPM and will eliminate all financial risk for the practice. We don't require providers to invest anything upfront or to buy devices outright, so they will see positive cash flow after their first billing cycle. What this ultimately equates to is a net revenue of $136 per patient per month and of over $1,600 per patient per year. But where the program really adds value is in how it scales for practices of different sizes. Enrolling 50 patients and reviewing for just 20 minutes each month will generate a little under $40,000 in annual net revenue for a practice. We'll see $196,000 in annual net revenue when we enroll 250 patients, and 800 patients will earn a practice roughly $630,000 in a year in net revenue. So the program scales incredibly quickly, and Medicare has committed to a serious investment in remote patient monitoring to ensure that your at-risk patients are managed and safe. The bottom line is that RPM represents the single easiest and quickest way to generate additional revenue for your practice right now. A critical component of any partnership is support. Every partner will tell you they have it, few will actually deliver it. 100 Plus offers what we call remarkable support. It's dedicated support that handles every part of a practice's and patient's needs throughout the full life cycle of your RPM program. Our support is free, it's unlimited, it's based in the US, and it's available via phone, chat, and email for both your practice and your patients. We'll walk your practice through every phase of the onboarding process, and when the program is up and running, your dedicated account manager will perform monthly business reviews to ensure that the program is on track. We also reach out and educate every one of your patients on how to use their device. Ongoing, we'll ship them batteries and consumables in advance of them needing them and offer no cost replacements on broken or lost devices as part of the service. As part of learning about RPM today, you already have a 100 Plus account. If you check your email, you'll see a link from 100 Plus. Simply click in to verify your address and we'll ship you one of our devices, a free cellular blood pressure cuff that'll be paired to your account as a test patient. You can use the cuff to see data flow into your 100 Plus portal just as it would for a real patient live on the program. From there, you can simply start adding real patients to your portal. Your RPM program will be live, your patients will be safer, and you'll start earning additional revenue for your practice, all with 100 Plus. If you'd like additional information or to speak with an RPM expert, please give us a call at 844-483-7587. Thank you for your interest in remote patient monitoring and have a great day.